Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Player Profile for South Range. DJ Yoakley here, and I'm so excited. So absolutely humbled by this interview. This young man we've watched grow right before our very eyes. A young man that has earned every opportunity that he's ever been given, and he stayed just head down and the consummate professional and the great teammate that he is through this entire time. And I've watched it the entire way. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in one of the South Range seniors and one of my dearest friends in the world, Mr. Ty Wardle. What's up, War Daddy?
What's up?
Dude, so, all right, senior year snuck up on me, and it had to have snuck up on you a little bit. You have been waiting for these moments that you're about to embark on for, I don't know, how long? I mean, since you've been playing baseball, your name is not only on the map, my friend, but you have entitled it the War Daddy Nation right now because everybody's got their eyes locked on number 7, who leads off and patrols that outfield like the sheriff that you are. What has senior year been like for you, Ty, and the whirlwind that it's been so far?
Oh man, it's been something. It's been a great experience that I've been so blessed to spend with my teammates, with my senior class, the guys around me. I mean, these are the guys I grew up with, the people who've been around me for so long, and I am so blessed to share an experience like this with them, to make a run at the playoffs, to make a run at a great season. I can't speak highly enough of those guys. So I think without them, this year would not be as special as it is. So
I told you, the ultimate teammate right there, always constantly pushing your teammates, which I love, man. Um, this has been it's been a great year, but it's been a tough year. I mean, there's expectations when you put on that burgundy and gold that you're going to win the NE8, that you're going to win sectionals, that you're going to win districts. You guys shooting for your 4th district championship in your 4 years there. You came up short for the conference championship this year. What for you? What does that mean? What does that, looking back, is that something that's going to push you further here in the playoffs? Does that taste of not getting something that you set out for, does that push you further, or is that something that you guys look at and you go, okay, well, we didn't accomplish this, but we might be able to accomplish this?
Well, I think there's something to be said of falling short of expectations. It puts a sour taste in your mouth. It lights a fire under you. You go from something that you go into the season thinking this is our goal, this is what we're gonna do, and then you fall short of that, and it's a punch in the mouth. You say you miss goal 1, that makes goal 2 all that more important. So I think it definitely showed us that we're not invincible, but gave us a reason to fight harder. So I'm really excited for what that's done for us.
I know you're strong in your faith. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but everything happens for a reason. That's something that a lot of people talk about. Do you feel like, by coming up short necessarily in conference, that it gives you the ability to look forward and like you said, have that bad taste in your mouth, that punch in the mouth? Because I mean, just from an outsider's perspective, we've looked at this conference. This is probably the most competitive the NE8 has ever been in baseball. And is your team being a part of that? Do you feel like iron sharpened iron? It's going to make you guys or give you guys a little bit more, spark for a run down the stretch here?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, when you see constant good pitching and you see teams that can fight you for a win, I mean, it's definitely a situation where you feel like, you learn. I mean, baseball is all about learning from what you've done wrong and what you can do better. And I think having a competitive league like we have is such a good experience, and it's an honest blessing to have. Because I mean, you could have a weak league, and you go out and you win it, and you don't lose a game, and it's great and all. But then you go into playoffs, you might get knocked out in the first couple of rounds because you haven't learned. And I think losing is learning, and it's best be treated that way.
Over the last 4 years, what are some of the biggest learning experiences that you've had a chance to kind of go through, and what have you learned from it?
Um, I've definitely had a couple. I think a couple years back, I remember it was when I was playing JV. I showed up late, and it was my own fault. I showed up late, but I got benched for that day. And at the time, I felt like I was bigger than the situation, and it humbled me greatly. And I realized that, not everything is given. Sometimes I take things for granted, and I have to learn not to do that. So between that and I think when we had my junior year against Waynesdale, we went from the night before winning against Lakeview and playing a really great game to the next day getting mercy ruled in the playoffs. And it was definitely one that makes you feel a little bit like, maybe we could have done something different. We could have played better, but it's an eye opener for sure.
Over the last couple of years, I've seen you kind of grow into your shell, and now you've grown out of your shell. Being able to open up and have conversations not only about your teammates, your faith, some of the struggles that you've had, and people will look at your journey and they'll go, "Oh, okay, this dude's had everything handed to him," but that's not the case, Ty. For you, talk your struggles. I mean, I see them on almost an every week basis that you're trying to get better and better and better and overachieve. For those that are out there right now that want to play baseball at the next level, as you are going to do at Grove City, what kind of struggles have you gone through that they can expect that you've overcome along the way?
I think the biggest thing is when you fall short, that your next action isn't to, kind of wallow in self-pity, but go home and work on it. You mess up, you make a mistake. That's your goal. Your goal is never make that mistake again. Never make the same mistake twice. When you make a mistake, work on it. It's when you find yourself falling short in an area, that needs to be the area of focus. So I definitely say, from what I've learned, that if you leave those problems and those situations and those things that you struggle at alone for too long, they don't get better. You just got to learn, I guess.
No, and I think I can appreciate that. I understand that because I've kind of gone through the same stuff that you've pushed through years ago. But for you, it's a new journey. It's fresh. It's still an open wound in some cases, but I see you in the batting cage, and I see the time that you're putting in. Most people are going to say, "Hey, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go, put time in the cage, or I'm going to do push-ups, or I'm going to do sprints, and I'm going to." You have become extremely focused, and you said that you're focusing on, the work that you need to put in specifically to those things. You're not just working to work; you're working specifically on different avenues of your game. What has been your biggest challenge for you this year with your game? And was it hitting? Was it curveball? Was it defense? What's been the real challenge for you this year, and how have you overcome that?
For this year, I'd probably say hitting the outfield pitch and taking it not outfield pitch, outside pitch, and taking it the other way. I used to be almost solely a hitter to the other side, but this year I've worked a lot on some things that have caused me to be more of a pull hitter. So I'm trying to almost relearn what I was doing so I can improve upon it, because I've been struggling a little bit on the outside corner, and I've been taking too many. So
that's not a kind of opening for those pitchers. You're not trying to sucker them in right now, because they're going to watch this. They're going to go, "We're going out the outside corner." You're suckering them in so you can take it the other way. I know you.
I have been working at it. I've been working at it, trying to get better at it. So maybe I am. Hopefully.
For you, obviously, Addie, is your younger sister. For those who don't know, you guys are part of an incredible family that has given so much life back to the sports community here with athletics and everything that touches, kind of like the Lion King. Anything that the light touches, athletics and the Wardle family is trying to help raise. So for you to be part of that, and a big part of that, because this is a family mission, what does it mean to you to allow other communities to get better in the sports realm of things, and watch everybody kind of the tide raise on all communities as opposed to just one or two?
I think it's great. I think when you give talent a place to shine, talent shines. You know, we have a very talented area in Northeast Ohio, and I think that sometimes people go out and they have all this talent, but they have nowhere to improve upon it. You know, so we're such a talented area that just needs that place to go out and kind of prove it. You know, so I think I'm definitely very happy that athletics has been able to provide that place for people who have what it takes to show that they have what it takes and to improve upon that. So,
What kind of things have you talked to Addie about? I mentioned her in the previous question. What kind of things have you talked to her about? And so maybe some of the mistakes that you've made along the way that you don't want her to make. You guys are a little bit, you're much like my sister and myself. Like you're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum a little bit. You know, she's very outgoing. You're kind of to yourself a little bit. But I see you coming out of your shell. What things have you told her about her journey over the next few years, that she's to expect, and maybe you want to protect her from?
some of the things I've told her is just, first off, stay strong in your faith. You know, if you're strong in your faith, that's your foundation. You know, it's hard to break away from a good foundation like that. So I've told her to do that. You know, I want her to stay back when she's hitting. I think that definitely would help her a little bit. But um, obviously, I think the people you keep around you are a big indicator of where you'll be. So I'm trying to make sure she's with the right kind of people. You know, I'm trying to do the same myself. So I'm trying to do my best to give her at least a decent example, if not a better example of what she could do. So I think the world of her. I don't always show it, and I need to get better at that. But I do really hope for her best. So
Spoken like a true big brother, my friend. Grove City. I reference this almost every time that I do one of your games. They are smiling like a butcher's dog right now because everybody in the world that is recruiting wants a guy like number 7 at the top of their lineup at the next level. You have been hitting the absolute thread off the baseballs that have come your way. I mean, you're in every single write up that we have. You're in everything we do. Tyler Wardle is somewhere mixed up in there. For you, the recruitment process was an interesting one, and I know that because I was kind of watching the entire time, and got to hear a lot of the inside information that was going on. This is a very interesting time to be recruited, especially in baseball. For you, kind of lay that out there for everybody, what it was like, what your expectations were, and what kind of came to fruition.
well, my expectations were kind of that I'd go out, I'd play baseball, and then the next day I'd get a call from a coach saying, "Hey, I want you to play baseball here," right? And I think that's how everyone assumes it is, but it's not like that at all. It's you can be a very, very good baseball player, and the only way you're going to get recognized is if you put yourself out there. You got to talk to the coaches. You got to be around them. You got to be in their circle of influence because there's a lot of guys who are good at baseball. You know, everybody's willing to put in that work, but if you have something truly different, you have to put it out there. You got to go make yourself known, make a name for yourself. And I think I never would have gotten recruited by Grove City if I didn't go to their camp and be around the coaches. And that was, I knew I really liked Grove City. I loved the college and I wanted to go there even if I didn't play baseball. But to be in front of the coaches is what sealed the deal because meeting them, and knowing that not only I could go there, but also that they wanted me there and I wanted to be around those coaches, that just all played such a huge part in it. So definitely just being around it in general.
We know you love baseball. You're going to college to get an education first, to play baseball, but also to strengthen your faith, which is already incredibly strong. One of the things that I admire so much about you is anytime that we're in a room, you're always leading the prayer. You're always asking questions and encouraging people to step out into their faith and lean into their faith, to borrow a baseball term. What was it that finally hit for you? I mean, I know your family is firm in their faith, but for you to speak out and it, being at an age that is so influential and can be influenced very easily, what between what is cool and what is not, and perception of what is cool. What was it that stood out to you and said, "Hey, I need to do this"? Your leadership in faith by far exceeds anything that you've done, with all due respect, on the baseball field or in the classroom. Talk to me about why you decided that you're going to be the guy that leads that prayer. You're going to be the guy that, steps out and says, if it weren't for my faith, if it weren't for God, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow. I'd say honestly, the first time I started realizing that faith to me was more important than just, saying my prayers every night was during COVID. I started reading my Bible. I started reading the good word of God, and I realized how much in there applied to me and how much I could apply to my life. And then after that, I started going to FCA at South Range. Camden Thomas was the one who was leading it at the time. And seeing someone who was strong in their faith and wasn't shy about it and could say, like, hey, God got me through the hard times. God lets me be great in the good times. It was eye-opening to me to see someone who could be that open about it. So when it came to my junior year in FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I talked with Bob Kimple, who's the guy who runs basically everything in the schools for FCA. And I talked to him, and he brought it up to me to maybe take a leadership role in that. And I tried it. It helped me with everything in my life. I mean, I learned to speak publicly. I learned to be strong in my faith when things were difficult. I learned to be open with my failures, open with my successes, be able to relate to people who are also going through things. And from there, it blossomed. And I'm proud to say that God has made me the man I am today, and I can show others what it's like to have God in your life. And it's an absolute blessing. So
That's incredible, dude. I love it. I love being able to shine that light on you specifically, because it's not every day that someone is open in their faith. So kudos to you, man, and the people that you're going to open the doors for and open doors with. I'm sure for years and years and years to come. All right, so I've got to ask you this one question, because naturally, anytime that you're in high school, there can, especially as a senior, there can be a little bit of a head to head with your coach or head to head with your teammates. Ty, what has impressed me the most, perhaps above anything else, is your communication skills and your ability to almost moderate and be point guard for everything and everybody that you come in contact with. We've seen some great conversations, and your mom takes unbelievable pictures. Number one, but some of these interactions you've had with Coach Hannick, what is the relationship there, and how has it strengthened over the years as he gives you more, not only opportunities but more responsibilities and accountabilities for this year's program, and how have you been able to bring him closer to his team?
I think that for me and Coach Hannick, I think freshman year I was almost a little bit scared of him. I didn't know him well enough to honestly even keep a conversation with him. So it was kind of difficult for me to open up to him and talk to him and, have him as my coach. But then after a little while, sophomore year, junior year, I started realizing that, hey, like I'm seeing what some of the senior leaders are doing, what they're doing, how they're communicating with coach and how that helps our team. So this year I've decided, I want to do as much as I can for the team, because I think we have a really special group of guys. I think this team is absolutely amazing, not just in baseball and a lot of other things. And I think how we do is going to be led by Coach Hannick. I think Coach Hannick is who takes point in all those things. He's the one who makes the decisions, and I think it's incredibly important that we have a relationship with him. So hopefully, through just enjoying the day, enjoying the practices, enjoying all of our time, I hope it's been able to make everyone have a good relationship and get to see Coach Hannick as a good coach and someone who can really lead us. So
What's been fun is watching these four seniors, do your thing this year. Obviously, you guys have grown closer than ever, knowing that it's kind of you four leading the way, and what legacy that you're going to leave over the next couple weeks depends on the four of you. For you, what has been what has the walk been like for you with your other three seniors along the way? Obviously, KB coming in sophomore year was kind of the last stallion in the barn, so to speak. But you guys have had some great times. I know you roomed together down in Myrtle Beach. What has been the walk? What has the walk been like for you with your senior class here in baseball?
it's been great. I don't think, and I mean this in all honesty, that I could have had a better group of guys to spend my senior year with. I mean, they've been amazing. All of them have been absolutely great players and great friends. I can't say enough about them. Like, it's an honest truth from my heart that I do appreciate everything they've done for me, everything they've done for our team, and honestly, just for them being around, being good friends. I mean, it's been a great time, and I would not choose any other group of guys to spend my senior year with.
Oh, I love that. See, the ultimate professional right there. I do have one more question for you, and this obviously is not going to come as a surprise to you, knowing how much your family, all of them, every single one of them, mean to me. At your signing day, they kind of joked around about I'm the lost Wardle, from that standpoint. But dude, your family, what a great support system that they are for everybody, but certainly for you. What when you think about what it means to put that jersey on, and obviously the range on the front, but the name and the family that raised you on the back, what talk about the pride and what they mean to you specifically every time you go out.
They mean the absolute world to me. Without my family, I wouldn't be a fraction of the person I am today. They have led me every step of the way. Every single thing they have done, I have learned from. Every single thing they've said, I've listened to, although sometimes they disagree with that part. Um, but they truly have had more impact on my life than I can even put into words. I mean, I don't think that I could even. I don't know. I'm truly at a loss for words when I try to explain all that they've done because they've done everything. I mean, between my dad being always there for me for baseball, for my mom always being there with a hug at the ends of the game, the love that I've received from my family has been what keeps me going. I mean, it is honestly what gets me waking up in the morning. I know that I have such a great family that's going to be there for me, that's going to support me no matter what I do. It's been an amazing experience, and I can't thank them enough.
Well, because you're a teenager, I'm going to ask you one quick question about mom and dad specifically, that they would never ask you, but they'll have forever now as a chapter in your life. When you think about dad, what are some of the greatest things? What's the first thing you think about as what he's meant to you as a role model and just a leader?
He has been, he's like a mentor that you can't get away from and you don't want to get away from. He's like, it's so hard to explain, but he's like a watching presence who knows what you're doing wrong and knows how to help you with it. And with that, it's amazing because I can go home and I know it's not going to be, you know, hey, you did this, you did that. It's let me help you fix this. Let me help you fix that. He's been an absolutely amazing father to me and an absolutely amazing mentor. And he's been one of the leading examples in my life, just period.
And then for mom, what's one of the fondest memories that you have along your baseball career?
Oh, one of my fondest memories. There's too many of them. Honestly, just I think that there's something that I think she overlooks, and she only sees it as just general love. But after every game, she gives me a hug and says, "Good game, buddy," and it means a lot. And I can't explain it, and I can't say anything else about it. It's just having that hug and that little bit means the world to me.
Tyler Wardle, the War Daddy. I appreciate you so much. We're so proud of you. Thank you for everything that you've been, and thank you for everything that you are yet to be, my friend. Because I think the star is yet to shine its brightest, and we're looking forward to following you the entire way. Congratulations on all your success to this point, and congratulations as you move forward in your career, my friend.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Have
You
a great
got it,
day.
buddy. You too.